Welcome to the Maryland Means Business Podcast. I'm Cal.
And I'm Chessie. Cal, today feels like a highlight reel and a spreadsheet got into a fight. And honestly, I'm not sure who's winning.
That's an oddly specific way to describe a Monday.
It's an oddly specific week. We've got a mall opening with actual celebrities, a startup that basically started in a football locker room, and a founder making a very calculated bet on the hottest buzzword in tech. Pick your favorite.
I already know which one's going to get me talking, but let's earn it in order. Where do we start?
Annapolis Mall. Dick's House of Sport just set an opening date, August 14th, and they are not doing it quietly.
Please tell me it's not just balloons and a 10% off table.
Ed Reed, Ravens Hall of Famer, cutting the ribbon at 9 in the morning on opening day.
Okay, now I'm paying attention. Who else?
Derrick Henry, current Ravens running back. He's there 2 days later, August 16th, noon to 1:30.
So it's not a ribbon cutting. It's a 3-day event, August 14th through the 16th. Festivities every single day, with 2 of the biggest names tied to the team this whole state is obsessed with.
Right. And here's my take before you get to yours. This isn't just marketing, it's translation. A giant national retailer figured out the fastest way into a Maryland customer's heart runs straight through Ravens purple.
My take's smaller scale, but every owner listening should steal the instinct, not the budget. None of us are calling up a Hall of Famer, but you don't open quietly and hope people wander in. You give people a specific reason to show up on a specific day for a specific moment.
It's the local hero trick, and it works because House of Sport stores already sell experience over just shelves. Batting cages, climbing walls, the whole thing. Pairing that with Ravens royalty just doubles down on come feel something instead of come buy something.
Stores open 9 to 9 weekdays and Saturday, 10 to 7 on Sunday, starting the 14th. Market Annapolis.
This is also what the third big retail opening we've talked about on this show this summer. Feels like every mall in the state is trying to give people a reason to leave the couch.
Which honestly tracks. Foot traffic is the whole game right now, and a celebrity ribbon cutting is cheaper than it looks if it actually works.
And a 3-day event with real Ravens legends is a different kind of signal than a quiet soft open. It says we are not testing the waters here. We're all in.
Which matters more than people think. When a big retailer opens quietly, customers read that as, we'll see how this goes. When they open loud, customers read that as commitment, and commitment earns loyalty before you've sold a single thing.
Speaking of the Ravens, actually, Cal, this next one's going to make you do a double take.
Oh?
Remember last week, the 40-year lease, the Ravens staying put in Owings Mills?
Vividly, since you led with the big number that week instead of saving it for the end like the rule says.
The rule evolved. We covered this. Anyway, turns out the Ravens organization shows up twice this week. There's a Baltimore startup called My Health Data, co-founded by Jayshawn Harris and Colin Francis.
And Francis is
an athletics director at Howard University now, but he used to work with the Ravens, and he actually helped Harris recover from an injury. That's the real origin story here.
Okay, this is the part where you tell me what they actually built.
An app where a student-athlete logs their own medical appointment notes, physical exams, blood work, rehab treatment, all of it, and carries it with them across every provider they ever see.
Because right now, none of their data actually follows you.
Correct. And here's the number that makes it real. Roughly 60% of top college football players transfer schools at least once. Every time that happens, the medical file is supposed to follow. It usually doesn't.
So you tear something as a sophomore in Ohio, you transfer to Maryland as a junior, and your new athletic trainer is starting from zero.
That's exactly the gap. They soft launched last June with 600 college athletes, and they've added 100 high schoolers since, coming out of Towson University's Startup Accelerator.
Raised $45,000 so far. Not a headline number. I'll say it before you do.
I was absolutely going to say something.
So Chessie's rule gets its asterisk for the week. Sometimes the story isn't the size of the check. It's the size of the problem nobody else bothered to fix.
That's the real lesson for owners listening too. You don't need a huge number to have a real business. You need a problem that's obviously broken the second somebody points at it. 700 kids' medical files falling through the cracks is obviously broken.
And I'd guess it's not just injuries either. Physical exam clearances, blood work, that kind of thing probably lives wherever the old school kept it. If you're transferring midsummer trying to get cleared for fall practice, that gap gets real fast.
Which is exactly the kind of invisible friction that never makes a headline until somebody builds a product around it. Nobody wakes up outraged about medical record portability. They just quietly lose weeks waiting on a fax.
That's basically founder rule number 1 around here. Find the boring paperwork nightmare, not the flashy pitch. My health data didn't dream this up in a boardroom. They lived it.
Right. And that's the part that sticks with me. Colin Francis didn't build this because he read a market report. He built it because he watched a teammate go through it firsthand.
And I'd bet that's the more common founder story than people admit. Most of the useful stuff we cover on the show didn't start with a business plan. It started with somebody being personally furious about a broken process.
Which is basically the founding myth of half the companies we've talked about on this show, honestly, and it never gets old.
All right, last one. And I want to know if you actually know what an AI agent is, Chessie, because that phrase gets used for everything now.
Rude, but go ahead.
Columbia, Maryland. Dinesh Ganesan just launched a company called Missionmind.ai with co-founders Anita Chakoli and Amal Alex Steines.
In a sentence a normal person understands, what do they actually do?
They build custom AI agents for private companies and government clients, meaning software that actually goes and does a task, not just answers a question.
Okay, quick jargon check, because that line is doing a lot of work.
Fair. A chatbot talks, an agent acts. Their flagship product screens resumes and narrows down a candidate pool on its own. That's a task getting finished. Nobody's typing a follow-up question.
And who's actually using it?
A state health agency, plus several private companies already. So this isn't a demo somebody's shopping around. It's already running.
Here's the part I like. Ganesan didn't start from zero. He spun this out of his own consultancy, Akaran, which he's run since 2016. He's staying on as CTO there while building the new thing, too.
That's my favorite kind of founder story, and I'll say the quiet part out loud. Half the AI agent companies launching right now are chasing something they read about last month. This one came from a guy who was already doing the work for clients and decided to build a product around it.
Which is a warning for everybody else in the category, too. If you're building an AI agent company and you can't name a client actually using it today, you might just be a very expensive slide deck.
I'll admit the skeptical version of this, too. Every company on Earth is slapping AI agent on their homepage right now. So what actually separates this from every other We Do AI pitch this year?
The specificity. From where I'm sitting, Mission Mind isn't claiming to automate everything. They're automating one clearly defined workflow, resume screening and candidate narrowing, and they can point to who's actually running it.
So the real test for any owner getting pitched an AI agent tool, ask what specific task it finishes today, not what it promises to eventually do.
And whether they can point to a second flagship product a year from now, not just the first one. That's the real test for any consultancy turned product company. Can you win twice without your founder's fingerprints on every deal?
Ganesan's actively fundraising now to build out that product side, but that's the order that matters. A boring, specific, already working use case first, the flashy pitch deck second.
All right, that's the show. A retailer that knows how to throw a party, a startup born out of an actual Ravens locker room story, and an AI founder betting on receipts instead of hype.
3 different stories, 3 totally different scales. A mall opening, a 5-figure raise, and a fundraising round nobody's disclosed yet. And somehow they all say the same thing. Know your specific advantage and lean all the way into it.
Ravens purple, a personal injury story, a consultant client list. None of that is hype. It's just leverage. And it's worth remembering the next time somebody hands you an overhyped pitch.
Couple quick things before we go. First, our sponsor.
This one's on Maryland Smart Energy. Smarter buildings, smarter bills.
They help Maryland businesses cut what they spend on energy through utility-funded programs. And right now, through September, that means HVAC tune-ups with nothing out of pocket, fully funded by Empower Maryland.
And I'll say the honest version of that, because it matters. Nobody's handing you a gift. You're already paying into that Empower Maryland charge on your bill every month. Maryland Smart Energy just makes sure you actually collect what you've already paid for.
It's the same instinct behind how we make this show, honestly. Built almost entirely with AI, and we're picky about which tools we use. One's from companies that cover their own energy and grid costs and use water-efficient cooling, instead of quietly passing that bill to Maryland households and small businesses who never agree to it. Keep the costs where they actually belong. Find Maryland Smart Energy at mdsmartenergy.com.
And find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or now on YouTube if you'd rather watch Chessie defend her rule.
Head to marylandmeans.business for the newsletter and every source from today's show.
And remember, Maryland means business.